name is John Cottrell, and this is Power Yoga. It's a 60-minute power vinyasa yoga practice, which means we're going to be flowing and moving with breath. So the name of this class that I've put together for you is called Binds and Balance. Binds and balance. What could that possibly mean? We'll be getting to that. So there will be some binding postures. So we're going to be kind of twisting ourselves up in a knot, okay? And some balancing poses to go along with that. Here's some props that you may want to use for your practice today. So I always like to have a couple of blocks. Whether I use them or not, I just like to have them. But they may come in handy for this practice for you. So maybe a couple of yoga blocks like these. They could even be just some stacked books, some hardbound books. That would work great as well. And another thing that might come in handy is actually a yoga strap or just a small hand towel. This will come in handy already for some of our binding postures, okay? So if you don't have a yoga strap, just go grab yourself just a small hand towel. I just rolled this one up like that, okay? And that's it. So let's go ahead and begin. We like to start in mountain pose. So I invite you to stand near the top of your mat with your feet about hip distance apart and your toes are pointing forward. This will start to establish a nice strong foundation for ourselves, primarily from the waistline down. You might start with a few deep breaths in and out. So you might breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. And along with the deep breathing, maybe some circling of the shoulders. Remember, we're going to be doing some binding postures. And so when we do binds in yoga, it really does involve our arms, particularly our shoulders. So we want to loosen them up just a little bit here. So just some gentle circles will be just fine. So I'm just circling them backward a few times, maybe forward a few times, and then a couple of shrugs. You might just lift the shoulders up towards your earlobes and then down a couple of times. And then just settle into stillness. Maybe just shake out any dust bunnies right there and just settle in. And just continue with slow, steady breaths in and out just to help prepare for your practice. You can do this with your eyes open, and if they are open, just take a soft gaze forward or downward. You can also do this with your eyes closed as you take this journey inward, paying attention to what's going on inside of you so you can let go of the things that are going on outside of you. Slow, steady breaths, just bringing yourself to this moment, fully present and aware. Very nice. And just to bring a little bit more awareness to your breathing, when you inhale, just feel the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. So a very expansive feeling in the chest. Then as you exhale, as you're able, draw your navel inward toward your spine. It's a light contraction of your abdominal muscles. We call that the abdominal lock. So again, a nice inhale, and as you breathe in, just feel the lengthening of your spine, feeling a little taller, and allow the lungs to expand. And when you exhale, just draw your belly in, that light contraction of the abdominal muscles, just a greater awareness of your center body. This will provide great support as you move, as you hold in stillness, also will help with some of our balancing postures. Continue with your slow, steady breathing. Good. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths. And with these breaths, prepare your body to move. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. A nice reaching effort, a good stretch. Then exhale, let's fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down towards your toes. Now for this first time, or really any time, you don't have to touch your toes. Maybe your hands just land naturally at your shins or at your ankles. Then inhale and slide your hands up the legs, perhaps to your knees or thighs, and extend your spine so your back is long and flat like this. And then exhale, we're going to melt our way back down to our deep forward fold. We're going to hold here. Now, I say deep forward fold, which may mean you're bending the knees more, you're able to touch the ground or your toes, but perfectly fine to modify
and just come up the legs a little bit so you don't have to take that deep forward fold. Wherever you are, if you're able, maybe just a loosening of the arms. Remember, we're going to be working with our shoulders. We're going to continue with that loosening effort. So maybe some circles, even kind of stirring the soup with your arm, just circles with the arms like this. And then with your neck, just loosening up there. So some nods, yes, shake your head, no. Just loosening up some of those tight spaces. Let's do another spinal extension, so slide your hands up to the shins or knees, extend your spine long, flat back, exhale, let's fold back down. From here, just a weight shift back into your heels, bend your knees, let your hips lower while your upper body starts to lift a little bit. It'll feel like you're in a chair pose like this. Then take your arms out to the side with a nice full inhale, stand up all the way, reaching into the air. Big stretch here at the top, then exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Very nice. That's our half salute to the sun. Take another breath. Maybe another circle of the shoulders if you like. We're going to repeat that same sequence, our half salute. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the air, big stretch. Exhale, lead with your heart and fold forward, soft knees, making your way downward. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs, extending your spine, leading through the crown of your head. Good energy there. Exhale, fold back down towards toes. Just a brief pause, make sure you release everything completely here. And then shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, hips lower, lift upper body, then continue to stand. Inhale, standing up tall, reaching into the air, and exhale, bring your arms back down by your side. Return to stillness and return to your breath. Very good. Let's go ahead and continue. We're going to be adding on to that sequence. Moving on to our Sun Salutation, Series A. Here we go. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward, again with soft knees, making your way down, perhaps touching your toes. Inhale, let's slide the hands up the legs to extend the spine, a long, flat back. Exhale, fold, bend, get low enough until you can bring your hands to the ground, and just walk or step both feet back into plank pose, a high push-up position. Hold here for a breath in. Exhale, bend your knees a little and send your hips up into the air, right away into downward facing dog. I just call that a shortcut from our plank pose into down dog. You can do that any time in the practice, even when I instruct that full vinyasa, when we go from plank to chaturanga to up dog. Just holding here for a couple breaths. Feel free to make any adjustments with your feet, maybe your hands, so you can feel pretty settled into the pose. I'd advise spreading out your fingers pretty wide for a nice strong base for the hands. Press firmly into the ground with your hands to encourage good strength and length in your arms. Let's take a breath in. On the exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale to lift up halfway, lengthening through your spine. Exhale to fold. Weight shift into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, grow tall. Once again, reaching into the air, then exhale, arms back down by your side. We're going to continue right away into Series B, just adding on to our sequence. Whenever you're ready, inhale, reach high into the sky. Exhale, take chair pose or a chair-like position. We're going to hold here for a moment. Now you can keep the arms out here like at an angle, or even drop them down so they're more parallel to the floor like this, if you like. Just reach forward while your hips are reaching to the back end of your mat. Take a breath in, and exhale, just dive forward down towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway or just a good extended spine. Exhale, bend, hands to the floor, walk or step, or even hop both feet back into plank pose. Breath in. Exhale, bend elbows, lower your way down towards the floor in a strong straight line, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, pressing hands into the floor to straighten your arms. Heart leads forward. We're creating a back bend we know as upward facing dog. Exhale onto your toes, lifting knees, then hips into the air, downward facing dog. Again, just make an adjustment with your feet. Maybe your hands settle into the pose. You might keep a softness or a bend in the knees. That way you have some mobility in your hips, and your hips can lift a little higher while your hands press deeply into the ground. Strong straight line through the whole torso. Let's continue with the lunge. You're going to inhale, lift the right foot and extend the right leg up and back. Reach long. Exhale, let's step this right foot to the top of the mat, to your right hand. Turn left heel to the floor behind you. Be sure to shift weight back into that foot so you have good pressure in that back foot, some good balance between the feet. Elongate your torso long out over your right thigh. Then inhale, hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. This is Warrior One. We're going to exhale, hinge and fold. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose. Bend elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs. As you lower yourself down in a straight line, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Long legs, pointed toes behind you, focuses forward. Exhale, tuck toes, lift knees and hips, right up into the air, downward facing dog. Quickly adjust, arrive in your posture. Let's do the other side. Inhale, extend left leg up and away, reaching straight and strong. Exhale, left foot steps through, left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel plants into the floor. Again, a good weight shift back into that foot, fully planted into the ground, extending the torso long out over your left thigh. Inhale to hinge from hips, rising up, facing forward, with both arms reaching into the air, Warrior One. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Let's slide the left foot back to meet the other and complete your sequence. Remember, you can move right away into downward facing dog or follow me through the vinyasa, chaturanga, right into up dog, and our exhale into downward facing dog. Let's take a couple breaths here. From here, I'd like to go to the floor to do a little back bend work. So you can kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs to take a seat. Sit in the center of your mat and then go ahead and roll down onto your back. And we're going to lie down with knees bent, feet flat on the ground. And just take a few moments here just to get reconnected to the ground. Just settle in, just soften the body. Relaxing here for a few moments before we re-engage. And just get reconnected to your breath. So we're going to be moving into bridge pose in a moment, which is a back bend or heart opener. And we'll also get into our shoulders a little bit and our hips, because we'll be really emphasizing those areas of the body once we get into some of our binding positions. All right, let's get ready to go. Inhale, fill yourself up. Fill up the lungs, then exhale, engage belly. And with that energy, lifting hips right up into the air like so. There we are. Immediately start to feel thighs engage right in the hip area, low belly. Now with the arms, I'm going to suggest bending the elbows at 90 degrees where your fingers are reaching for the ceiling and your elbows and your triceps are pressing into the ground. That's going to help you to lift upper body a little bit and even sustain the posture. I'm going to do a couple things here. Okay, you can follow me or just do what feels right for your body. I'm going to just kind of shift and kind of wiggle left and right a little bit. What I'm doing is kind of walking my arms and shoulders underneath me. And I feel like my upper body is just kind of puffing up a little bit more in this back bend, getting the shoulders underneath me a little bit. Here's another action you could do as well. I can bring the hands down and maybe interlace fingers underneath me, right here. And that's really going to emphasize getting the arms and shoulders underneath me here too. It even kind of locks them in place. Really helping to open up through the chest, that expansive feeling there. 2 more breaths in this back bend, very dynamic. Let's start by wiggling the toes forward a little bit, wiggle the feet forward. If your fingers are folded underneath you, let's release. Extend both arms up into the air. This should get the shoulders out from underneath you, and then slowly roll your way back down to the earth. Once you made that nice soft landing, hug both knees into chest. Let's hold here for a moment. Since we just did that back bend, which had some emphasis on the low back and some sensation in the low back perhaps, give yourself a little massage just by maybe a few circles like this, rocking left and right, forward and back. Just a little massage. And then eventually start rocking forward and back. And with a good exhale, providing good energy in the body, rock your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. So I like to Start with bent knees, flexed feet, long spine, lifting up tall, and then lean back, keeping that straight spine, just at a new angle. And with that leaning back, I can easily float the feet up into the air like this. Typically, I like to hold on to the legs just to help that extended spine, but you can certainly release, free up the hands like this, and just kind of reach out in front. You can even straighten the legs, holding on, or free-handed. Take a breath in, we're ready to move. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hopper step back into plank pose right here. Let's add a new pose. You're gonna bring the knees to the floor and just situate yourself so your hips are directly over your knees and perhaps your shoulders are right over your wrists. Just a nice little tabletop. Let's start with 2 breaths, cat and cow. So it starts with cow pose, which is an inhale, it's a back bend, where you look up or forward, creating that arched back feeling. Exhale, round it out, that's cat. Do that one more time. Inhale, feel the pelvis tip back, belly drops, heart opens, look forward. Exhale, round it all out, chin to chest, belly button pulls up towards spine. And just return to a neutral position here. Okay, new pose. I'm tapping my right foot, just so you can swing just the right foot off to the right side. The knee didn't move, just the foot. I'm making what I call a kickstand for balance. Kind of lean into the right hand and right knee, so you can extend the left leg back like this, but keep the toes on the ground, alrighty? And then we just open up completely sideways, where the left hand is reaching up into the air. Okay, heart and hips are facing to the left side of the room. The left foot can flex just to keep that leg strong and sturdy. And you've got that kickstand, you can just kind of change that angle of the leg back there just to help you with this balance. Just like this. And feel free to take this left arm, reach it overhead. Actually, let's do this together. Reach your left hand overhead towards the front of the room. Reach it up towards the ceiling. And then bring it down behind you. You might spin your palm the other way. And bring your hand down behind you to your low back, right here, or even your left hip. And then if you can, maybe two circles with this left shoulder, once and twice, and then hold it back. And just opening up through the chest a little bit more. And then free up this left hand and reach to the back of the room, and then right back up towards the ceiling. It's a long time in this pose. So we're going to inhale, exhale, return to hands and knees. Bring the left hand down, bring the left knee down, bring that kickstand back in. Now, there was a lot of pressure on the right wrist, so let's do what I call half hero. Tuck your toes like this and just start to sit back, just kind of crawl back so you can get your hands off the floor. And then circle the wrists like this. Particularly that right wrist, because we were on that hand for a long time. So I like to give our hands and wrists a little bit of a massage just by circling them. You can even press them very gently, the tops of the hands on the mat. Not too firm or strong, just a very gentle press, just to get a counter stretch there. All right, we're gonna get ready to do the other side, same thing. So hands out in front. You can lengthen the feet back there if you'd like. Another 2 breaths, cat-cow. Inhale, look up or forward, arching the back. Exhale, round it out, cat pose. One more time, inhale to cow. It's our back bend feeling. And exhale, round it out, cat pose. Come back to neutral tabletop. Tap your left foot, swing it off to the left side, that's our kickstand. Shifting weight over to the left side, so you can extend the right leg back with ease, keeping the toes on the ground. It's just helping with balance as you set up the pose. And then we'll open up sideways towards the right side of the room with the right hand reaching up into the air. Keep that right leg pretty strong, just by flexing the foot. You're on the inside edge of the foot, just to keep it pretty activated. Nice reaching sensation towards the ceiling initially with this right hand, and then slowly start taking it over your head. You might even spin the palm so it's facing downward towards the floor. It's just a little bit more natural for the shoulder. Okay, and then come right back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to bring this hand down to low back, palm open, or to right hip, either one. And then a few circles, maybe 2 circles with this right shoulder. On the second one, we're going to hold it back so the heart feels like it's really opening and moving towards the right side of the room. Now free up this right hand, reach to the back of the room, and then right back up towards the ceiling. We're going to inhale here, and exhale, return to the earth. Right hand, right knee, bring the left
kickstand back in, tuck toes, sit back, half hero. So we can get off the hands and give that, especially that left wrist, a little bit of a massage. Okay? Right there. Because that's a lot of pressure on the hands. We're going to be doing some similar things a little bit later in the practice. So I just want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, right? All right, let's continue with our flow. Let's bring the hands back out in front. Tuck toes again. Let's do another cow pose. Inhale. That's our back bend. Exhale, round it out into cat. And move right away into downward facing dog by lifting knees up into the air. Knees remain soft, but feel the extended spine. Lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up and away behind you. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel turns to the floor behind you, shifting weight so you're balanced on 2 feet. Long spine. Inhale, rise up, reaching into the air, warrior 1. And our exhale here to warrior 2. I'm going to hold here for a moment. I'm going to take my feet out a little wider so I can lunge a little deeper, getting a little bit more of a stretch in this front inner thigh. Right there. Arms extended, reaching across the room dynamically. Energy moving through the fingertips. And some alignment pieces we want to check in with. Right knee and your toes are pointing directly forward. Let's take this to side angle, so we're reaching out over the right leg. Angled upper body, rotate the arms just like this. Right hand or arm is just kind of braced against the inner thigh. I'm giving it a little push, a little nudge, just to keep this stretch and release in that right inner thigh. Meanwhile, left hand is reaching straight up into the air. Alrighty. Let's bring the left hand down behind us again, just to low back or to left hip, just in case that feels a little awkward on the shoulder, no worries. Okay, I'm taking mine to low back. Let's do 3 circles of the shoulder. 1, 2, and 3. Hold it back, heart opened, just like this. You want to kind of feel like an energy moving through the top of your head. Okay, just kind of shooting out in the forward direction. All right, let's inhale and take this left hand back up into the air. Exhale, let's turn. Let's bring hands to the floor. Step back into plank pose, but keep the right foot lifted just a few inches off the ground. And it doesn't have to lift very high at all. Since the foot is free, reach back, reaching to the heel or the balls of the foot or pointed toes. Set the toes back down. Bend the knees slightly. Send hips into the air, downward facing dog. Let's get ready for the other side. Let's inhale, take left leg up into the air, and exhale, left foot step through for warrior 1. So right heel turns to the ground, long spine. Inhale, rise up, first warrior, and our exhale here to warrior 2. Once again, I'm going to take my feet out a little wider. That's my choice. Here, you can go where you want to go. You can keep them a little bit more narrow, or go a little wider if you'd like. Just to a place where you get that nice stretch and natural release in the left inner thigh. Remember, that's going to be helping us with our binding postures. So let's shift forward, reaching out through the left hand, angled upper body. Rotate the arms, reaching up, reaching down for our side angle pose. This left arm, my forearm is just kind of braced on inner thigh. And you can see I like to stay up high in this pose. You can certainly stay up high like this. You can even bend this arm, left arm, and rest it lightly on the thigh. Or maybe you're much lower and deeper and your hand is touching the ground, or you brought in your set of blocks. Okay, let's bring this right hand down behind to low back or right hip. 3 circles with that shoulder. 1, 2, 3, and hold it back, opening up through the heart. Energy moving through the crown of the head forward. Holding here for a couple more breaths. A bit more hip opening and some shoulder release. Let's inhale, re-extend the right hand up into the air. And our turn to bring the hands down to the floor. Let's step back into plank pose. Keep left foot lifted just a few inches off the ground, not high at all. Energetically reaching to the heel, or the balls of the foot or pointed toes. Set the toes back down. Soft knees, hips into the air, downward facing dog. Breathe in right here. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet to the top of the mat. Inhale to extend your spine. Exhale, fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come up to standing, reach up into the air. Now on this exhale, you're going to slowly bring the arms down and reach back like this. Okay? Reach back as if you're reaching for the back corners of your yoga mat. You can even open the fingers and feel like you're holding on to maybe like a beach ball or a box behind you, so there's a squeezing in sensation. So we're just emphasizing bringing the arms and shoulders back behind us, right there. Put a little bend in the knees. And if you're able, interlace your fingers behind you. This is really just an option, but if you're able, interlace your fingers. But this is an opportunity, if you'd like, to use that prop, your strap or your towel, like this, okay? So that's how you can use that hand towel. I'm just going to go ahead and interlace fingers. And that is going to help you to roll shoulders back a little bit and even squeeze shoulder blades together. Now we kind of did this already when we were in bridge pose, okay? Knees are soft here. I'm going to give you some options. We're going to kind of bend the knees like you're kind of sitting and come to a chair-like position, chair pose, like this. You're welcome to stay just like this or start to slowly fold. You can stop at any point. It might be here, okay? You might be a little bit lower. Your heart and head are going down while the folded fingers are reaching up into the air, or your hands are free, or you're holding onto your hand towel. So you may be this low, but you don't have to be this low. Doing a couple things here. One, you want to notice sensation, shoulders, arms, upper back, chest. Release the neck. All right, we're going to bring the folded fingers to low back, release fingers, drop them down towards the floor, and if you're up a little higher, just come down to a forward fold. Shake out those shoulders, shake your head gently. We're going to flow from here. Inhale, extend the spine. We're just going to make it flow nicely. Exhale, fold and bend. Hands to the floor. Hop or step back, plank pose, come down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go at your own pace. Inhale, extend right leg up. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants into the floor behind you. Good balance, long spine. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. And our exhale here to warrior two. Maybe a little wider in the stance, lunging deeper. Side angle pose, reaching out, rotate the arms. Right hand down, left hand up. Okay, bring left hand down behind you to low back. 3 circles of that shoulder. 1, 2, 3. Hold it back. Energy moving through the crown of the head. Inhale. Exhale. Let's inhale, re-extend left hand up into the sky. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, right foot lifted. Hold. See if you can keep the right foot lifted as you now come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower the leg to the floor now. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Exhale, left foot step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel plants into the floor. Good balance, long torso. Inhale, rise up, first warrior. Exhale, opening to warrior two. Side angle pose when you're ready. Reach out, rotate the arms. Reaching into the air. Reaching towards the floor. Bring the right hand down behind you to low back. 3 circles. 1, 2, 3, hold it back, open up through the heart. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, re-extend right hand up into the sky. Exhale, let's turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, left foot lifted, hold. Chaturanga, lower the leg to the floor once you're down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's pause here for a moment. Take a nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet to the top of the mat. Inhale to lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come to standing, reaching into the sky. Exhale, arms down by your side. Excellent. All right, so we're getting the body warmed up, getting ready for those binds, and let's get into that balance part of it. Let's start with tree pose. So again, standing nice and tall. Start shifting your weight over into your right foot. Right foot's rooting into the floor. It's very strong. And inhale to feel a lengthening through the spine. Exhale, draw belly in, ready for your balance. And just peel the left foot up off the ground. Maybe the thigh comes up to parallel, maybe with the flexed foot. to keep the legs strong. Swing the knee out to the side. Right there's our nice hip opener, placing foot on the inner leg, right there. And an inhale to take both arms straight up into the air and get that continued lifting feeling. So we get that continued lengthening through the sides of the body. Right there. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. A couple more breaths. Good focus, centering, balance. Let's keep the arms extended. Let's swing that left knee forward, lifting knee with the flexed foot. Let's plant the foot back down into the earth and bring the arms back down by your side. Feel free to kind of shake all that out if you'd like, especially through the shoulders and your hands. You can even go through your feet as well. All right, other side. Starting in balancing pose. Okay, mountain pose. It's a balancing posture even though we're on 2 feet. All right, now start shifting weight into left foot, root down into the floor. Inhale, get very tall, sending breath up to your lungs. Exhale to engage your core. Prepare for balance. So you're gonna lift that right foot, flexed foot right there. Thigh parallel to the ground, hip opener as the knee swings out to the side. Hips are still square facing forward, and you can place that foot on the inside of your standing leg. And an inhale to take both arms straight up into the air. Remember that continued lift. I always kind of keep my arms out at an angle, as you can see. You could go straight up, but when I do that, I feel kind of bound up in my shoulders and neck. So I just kind of open this up a little bit. Good lifting sensation. Make sure you're breathing deeply as well. Finding something to focus on out in front of you, or even just dart your eyes downward at the ground so you can focus on something down low. Let's keep the arms extended. We'll swing the right knee forward now, lifting the knee with the flexed foot. Plant the foot into the ground, and then your arms can return to your side. And roll it out. Shake it out. Excellent. All right, let's flow. Let's start adding some of this binding action, okay? This is where your towel is going to come in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and place my towel on my left side here so I can easily grab it, okay? Let's come to mountain pose. Okay, here we go. Let's inhale, take the arms up into the air. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway, monkey pose, I like to call it. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the floor, hop or step back, plank, come right down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend right leg up. Let's actually open this up. Bend your knee, bring your heel down towards your backside, lifting the knee a little bit up towards the ceiling, which creates another hip opener. Hands are pressing firmly into the floor so your arms are straight and strong. Take a breath in. Exhale to unwind and step through. Left heel turns to the floor. But before you rise, grab your towel or strap, whatever you have, in your left hand. Maybe at the end, okay? We're going to inhale and take both arms up, Warrior 1. Exhale, opening to Warrior 2. Okay, towels in your left hand. I'm going to go a little wider in the stance. Okay, more distance between the feet, lunging a little deeper. Can you see that? I'm reaching forward with the right hand here, rotating the body. Right hand comes down, left hand that has this towel or strap up into the air. I'm going to see if I can go a little lower. I'm going to try to see if I can get, let's see, my elbow lower than the thigh, right here. And then I'm going to drop this left hand down behind. This is where the bind comes in. So it kind of creates a little tail. So can you see my tail? And then I can take my right hand and find the tail right there. That's if you're unable at this moment to clasp fingers together or fold fingers or even touch fingers. Just use this to close the gap. Okay? So use the towel. Now be aware if your torso seems to be falling towards the floor here. Ideally, if you're able, you want to feel lifted up towards the ceiling. Roll this left shoulder back, helping to turn your torso so it's open completely sideways, like this. And it's hard to see me, but my torso is kind of straight out in the same alignment as my front knee, and the crown of my head is pointing in the same direction as that front knee. Alrighty? I'm going to release the strap from my left hand and drop it down onto the right side. Re-extend the arms floor to ceiling. Breathe in. Exhale, turn. Let's bring hands to the floor. Step back, plank, right foot lifted, hold. Chaturanga. Bring the leg down. Inhale, up dog.
Exhale, downward facing dog. Alrighty. Inhale, extend left leg up into the air. Bend and twist open. Bend the knee. Heel comes down, lift the knee. Hip opener. Holding for a few seconds here. Breathe in. We're going to exhale and unwind and step through. Left foot to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor, long torso. Before we rise, grab that strap or towel in the right hand at the end of it. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, opening to warrior two. Perhaps a little bit more distance between the feet. Lunging deeper, which is going to eventually bring you a little bit closer to the floor. Side angle reach, maybe reach more. Rotate arms. Left hand coming down, maybe fingertips can touch the ground, while your right hand with the strap or towel is up in the air. Getting low enough so maybe this elbow, left elbow, is lower than the thigh. Drop the towel down behind you. There's your tail. Reach with your left hand to grab that tail right there. And there's your bind. Remember, check in to see if your torso is facing the floor. If you can, you want to feel like you're lifting straight up towards ceiling. Roll right shoulder back to help torso turn so you're facing the right side of the room, so you're completely sideways or working towards that. Crown or the top of your head is pointing directly forward. Same direction as your foot and your knee. I'm going to drop my towel to the left. Re-extend the arms top to bottom. Turn and bring hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose, left foot lifted. Right there. Finish, coming down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Very well done. So that's the introduction of our binds. Let's bring the knees to the floor. Let's add something here. So we're on our hands and knees. A little weight shift towards the right side. Extend left leg back, keep toes on the ground like this. Stay just like this for a second. Extend your right arm forward, reach straight ahead. Now you can stay like this, or if you're able, lift the left foot up off the floor. It doesn't have to lift high. Okay, we're reaching to the right hand, reaching to the left foot, opposite directions. There's also a squeezing to center sensation. Belly pulling up towards spine. Inner arms, even though they're separated, squeeze to center. Legs, same thing, even though they're separated, squeeze them to midline. This is called spinal balance. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the hand and toes back down to the floor. Bring the knee to the floor. Let's take our half hero. Right there, so we can get off the wrists. Remember, that's a lot of pressure on the wrists. Even that little massage. Press gently. Press gently. Okay, you may not need to do that, but just in case, and of course you can always do this at any time. All right, back out to our tabletop. Right here, ready for spinal balance. So a little weight shift towards left side. So it's easy to extend right leg back like this, still on your toes. I'm finding my center because I was over to the left, but then I re-shift and find center. So I can get the left hand off the ground and reach forward. You can stay like this or lift that back foot. Reach in those opposite directions and hug to midline. Okay, lots of action here. Reaching, extending, squeezing to center. Spinal balance. Your head is looking down, or your face, your eyes are looking straight down so you don't strain your neck. Let's breathe in. Exhale, set the hand down, set your foot down, and then the knee. Maybe one more half hero. Right there. Massage those wrists. All right, we have one more pose to introduce, so let's get to that, and then we'll put our sequence together. So return to our tabletop. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips, downward facing dog, that nice re-extension of the spine. Nice full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to forward fold. Inhale to extend your spine. Exhale, fold again. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Come to standing, reach up into the air. Exhale, arms down by your side. Mountain pose. Maybe a little circle of the shoulders. Circle those wrists again, and even your feet. All right, here comes our next balancing pose. We're gonna do eagle pose, alrighty? So this involves the shoulders as well as some binding in the arms, legs, and of course balance.
I'm going to turn away from you for a moment, okay? So just follow me here. So we're going to basically be doing the same thing together. We're going to inhale, take both arms up into the air. Exhale, slowly bring your arms down, but pay attention to your left arm. Bring them down in front of you. And as you bring them down, bring the left arm down and behind or underneath the right. So you're crossing at the elbow, so you've made an X. And then spin the palms forward, and then bend elbows, lifting the arms like this. And then wrap it up as you're able. Kind of braid your arms, just wrap them up. Put a little bend in the knees, softness in the knees. Shift your weight over into your right foot. Pick up the left foot and cross this left leg entirely over the right. Now, you can do a few things here. When you cross, these toes can touch the floor, so you have a good base and you have balance right there. Or sometimes when I do this, my foot is free, but I flex the foot, so it's very strong. Some of you, I can't really do this, but you might be able to wrap your foot around your calf, all right? Wherever you are, we're squeezing legs tightly. We're squeezing arms together tightly. This is our bind, and we're in a balancing pose. Let's come out of the posture. Let's start by uncrossing the legs, plant the feet. Unwrap the arms, reach out, reach up. We're just going to go right away to the other side. As you exhale, bring the arms down. Pay attention to the right arm. You're going to bring it down behind or underneath the left arm. Cross at the elbows. Flip the palms forward. Lift the hands. Wrap them up. Put a softness in the knees. Shift weight into the left foot. Pick up the right foot, cross this right leg entirely over the other. Toes can touch the ground for balance. Okay, or so the foot is free, but flex the foot for energy and support. Or maybe you can wrap that foot around your calf. Squeezing legs a little tighter together. You're also drawing belly in. Good exhale there. And squeezing the arms together a little tighter. Releasing, let's unwrap the legs, plant the feet. Unwrap the arms, reach out, reach up. And then arms back down. Good. Shake all that out. Wonderful. Get a sip of water. I'm just going to adjust my mat here. Let's get ready. There we are, meeting together again in mountain pose. So let's go ahead and put a flow together. There's going to be some familiar things that we've already done, like that eagle pose. We're going to be starting with that eagle pose. Alrighty, and some other surprises that are going to be showing up into the practice. But don't worry, they're not things that are going to be completely out of our region of what we've been already working with, okay? So if you want to have that towel handy, maybe it's on the left side, okay? Right there, ready to go if you're going to be using that for your bind. Now remember, we're going to be starting with eagle pose. We'll be opening up from eagle into warrior two. So just follow me, you'll get it. Let's take a couple breaths here in mountain pose. Just resettle, reconnect. Here we go. Eagle pose. Let's start with the arms. Reach out, reach up, inhale. Exhale, bring the arms down, paying attention to the left arm. It's going to come down and behind the right arm. Crossing at the elbows, make your X, lift and wrap. Softness in the knees. Put weight into the right foot. Cross left leg entirely over right. Squeeze legs, belly, and arms tightly. This is our bind here, as well as the balance. Take a breath in. When we exhale, uncross the leg, but step the left foot back behind you like that into a lunge. Open up, warrior two. Let's reverse the warrior here. First surprise. Reaching right hand up into the air and windmill into side angle. So right hand down, left hand up into the air like so. Now, if you want to grab your towel with left hand, go ahead and grab the towel if you want here, because you're going to be bringing that left hand down behind you. Now, you can stay here for the bind if you're not using any props, or maybe you have a wider stance, lunging deeper and going for that bind. I'm not using the towel because I think I can able to, yes, I'm hooking the fingers together. I'm lifting up, roll shoulder back, opening up right here for the bind. Alrighty. We're getting ready for our next surprise, okay? Inhale, release the strap or towel, drop it down onto the right side. Re-extend the arms, floor to ceiling. Turn, bring hands to the floor. Step back, plank, right foot lifted. Pay close attention. Your right foot's off the ground, but you're going to set your left knee on the floor. So
Slowly send the left knee to the floor, shifting back a little bit so that knee is directly underneath the hip. So the right foot's lifted. You can extend your left arm forward. So yes, we've been here, spinal balance. We're going to add something here. We're going to bend the right knee, reach back, and create a little bind. Grab hold of the foot back here. So left hand grabbing right foot. And if you lift the foot up towards ceiling, we create this beautiful back bend. A nickname for this pose is tiger pose, right here. Let's take some balance for sure. We can consider it a bind since we're holding onto the leg. Let's release and re-extend, getting out of that back bend. Bring the left hand down, right knee down. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips, downward facing dog. Get that nice re-extended spine after doing that back bend. Full breath in. Exhale, walk, step, or hop. Both feet return to the top of the mat. Inhale to extend spine. Exhale, fold. Just be sure your strap or towel's on the right side. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come to stand. You reach up into the air right away to eagle. So you're going to bring the arms down. Pay attention to right arm. Bring the right arm down and behind left. Make your X at the elbows. Lift and wrap. Bend the knees. Weight shift into left foot. Cross right leg over left, entirely over it. Squeeze for the bind. Eagle pose. Balance. You probably can't tell, but my right foot is kind of free, it's kind of hanging out there. So I'm just pointing the toe to give it energy. Breathe in. Exhale, uncross and step the right foot way back, warrior two, opening up through the arms. Reverse the warrior. Left hand reaching up into the air. Windmill into side angle. There it is. So low enough so you can create your bind. If you want to go grab that towel or strap, go ahead and do that in the right hand. Bring it down behind you, grab your tail, or if you can, maybe you can see me. See, I can hook a couple of fingers together here. I'm lifting torso up, rolling right shoulder back to turn open sideways, crown pointing forward. Do your very best. It doesn't have to look exactly like this at all. Use that prop, use that towel. Inhale, re-extend the arms, floor to ceiling. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Step back, plank, left foot lifted, hold. Pay attention, slowly set the right knee onto the floor, right knee. Shifting your weight back so your hip is over that right knee. Left leg is still lifted. I'm shifting my hands a little bit here too. Then extend the right arm forward. Opposite limbs extending, spinal balance. Let's create the back bend. Bend the left knee. Reach behind you with the right hand, see if you can catch the foot. And it's okay if you can't reach it at all. Maybe just reach back for the air. You don't have to grab hold of the foot at all. I'm lifting to create the back bend, even taking my gaze forward. See, this is why we need all that shoulder work. Tiger pose. Let's release, re-extend, spinal balance. Hand and knee back down to the floor. Tuck toes. Move into downward facing dog one last time to help re-extend spine. Couple breaths here. We're going to the floor. Take a breath in. Exhale, cross or hop forward, cross legs, take your seat, and go ahead and roll down onto your back. And once you're down, you can bring the knees into chest. Takes a few deep breaths. It's a pretty dynamic flow. So here's our beginning of our resting space as we start to communicate to the body and mind that we're moving towards the end of our practice. Got all through the dynamics. And we're going to start to soften things up and slow things down. So I'm just kind of making some figure eights, rocking side to side, making circles just to massage the low back a little bit. And since the feet are free, you might even circle the ankles, something I like to do as well. Flex the feet, point your toes, just to kind of get into the ankles there a little bit. All right, just set the feet down, knees are still bent, and just kind of relax, just come to stillness for a moment. Settle into the ground. It was a lot of shoulder work, so let's do something for our shoulders. Let's extend both arms straight up into the air like this.
And then just give yourself a hug. Just kind of wrap yourself up in your own arms. So you're basically just holding on or touching your shoulders. Alrighty, and if you just kind of keep giving yourself a tight hug, you're actually giving yourself a little bit of a shoulder stretch. Alright, it's kind of targeting the outer portions of the shoulders and even kind of the rear portions of the shoulder muscles. Now the shoulders are kind of made up of 3 sections, okay, the deltoids, and there's 3 sections. So we're kind of getting the outer layer and that back layer. Now also pay attention to which arm is in front, or the one closest to your chin. In this case, mine is my left arm. Now go ahead and unhug, reach both arms up into the air. You're going to re-hug, but bring the other arm in front. So now it's my right arm that's in front, or closest to my chin. Tight hug, so we can get into that stretch feeling in the outer and rear portions of the shoulders. Now this doesn't have to be too tight at all, but just enough where there's a little bit of a light stretch. Okay, let's go ahead and unhug, reach up into the air, and just bring your arms down by your side and just rest there for a few seconds. Let's let those shoulders soften. Check in with your breathing here too, so maybe even just with that short motion or short moment, your breathing is a little slower and deeper after that dynamic flow that we've done so far. All right, let's go ahead and hug knees into chest once again. Let's take happy baby pose. So we'll get into those hips again. So wide legs here, taking feet up into the air, holding onto the soles of the feet, and a gentle press downward like this. You don't have to press too hard. Again, just getting into the hips a little bit. I like to add a bit of a rock, left and right. Getting into those hips. This is steady, easy, and soft. I'm not pressing down hard. I'm not rocking too quickly. Another opportunity to massage this low back and spine and get into the hips a little bit. A couple more breaths in happy baby. And then you can bring the soles of the feet together and then set the feet onto the floor for a reclining cobbler's pose. And another opportunity just to rest and relax, non-movement. Slow, deep breathing. Another complementary pose to the side angles, warrior twos, and that binding posture that we did. 2 more breaths. And then bring the knees up and together. Another hug of the knees in. Let's extend the legs straight up into the air, just like this. Now you can hold on to the backs of the legs. You can even keep a little softness in the knees. This is really just kind of taking the place of something like handstand or headstand or even shoulder stand, just some inverted position. And you can certainly move into one of those poses. And what's accessible here is probably just shoulder stand, but this is a nice alternative too, where you can just extend the legs up into the air. Another way you can do this, if you happen to have a block nearby, let me just rock upward here and grab one of my blocks and actually set feet on the floor, lift the hips and get the block underneath you, and then extend the legs. Just have that slight elevation in the hips, just kind of make this a little bit more comfortable. It's not, at least for me, less strain on the back, if that makes sense, okay? We're not going to be here too much longer. Maybe just a little movement in the legs, just getting into the hips, knees, and ankles. I like to really think about how our joints work, especially these big common ones like our hips, knees, ankles, elbows, shoulders, and wrists, right? Okay, those are significant joints that we use all the time. All right, let's go ahead and bring the feet back down to the floor. If you're using a block or something, let's remove that. One more hug of the knees into chest. We'll finish with a twist. We'll start by taking knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm off to the right side. Come back to stillness. Come back to breath. Some deep cleansing breaths here in this twist. take 2 more breaths. And we'll go ahead and come back up to center. Pause there for a moment so your spine has an opportunity to realign. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and take the knees down to the right side while extending your left arm to the left side, creating that rotation in the spine. Deep breathing here. And maybe 2 more breaths. When you're ready, once again, just return to center. 1 more hug of the knees in towards the body. And then go ahead and extend your legs straight out onto the floor in front of you. Arms can come down by your side. Coming to Shavasana. And just kind of check in with your body. Settle in, make any adjustments. And feel free to use any props that you would like to use to help support your body. That might be a blanket underneath you for softness. You can even elevate your legs. Even elevate your upper body with a pillow, whatever you need or want to use. And once you're settled in, find stillness. Feel free to close your eyes or even keep your eyes opened. Settle into your breath. Feel the body just melt into the ground. Check in with your breathing. And always come back to the breath. Notice if your mind begins to wander and starts to think about something that's not present. Just acknowledge the thought. Set it to the side and just tell yourself you'll get back to that thought a little bit later. Take a deep breath as a way to bring you back to the present moment. Slow, steady breaths. As your body is relaxing, just know that you're welcome to stay here in this relaxed state of mind and body for as long as you need to. Even as I end the practice, you can stay just like this, wherever you are, comfortable, relaxed, and calm. And when it is time to move, take your time. Start with 5 slow, deep breaths. These deep breaths, just experience movement, return to your body. And sometime after your 5th breath, move in slow motion. Carefully roll onto either side of your body. Just moving into a nurturing pose. And then from here, continue to move in slow motion and guide your way up to seated. And just find a comfortable seat. Sitting tall with an extended spine. Relax shoulders and arms. Hold for a moment. And then take 1 more breath together and movement together. Let's inhale, reach up into the air. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying Namaste.